Hello and welcome to another special episode of 101 as we showcase millennials who are making a difference in the digital space. My name is Elsie Godwin. First up is this conversation with Favour Onyeoziri, who is a social media influencer. He's an experienced digital marketer and advert copywriter. He has participated in over 100 digital marketing campaigns for both indigenous and global brands alike. He loves to travel, and in his spare time, he visits everywhere possible. He touches on the misconception of the lifestyle of influencers. Hello, Favour. Thank you for joining us at Plus TV Africa.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're a digital marketer and a very good content creator. How did this journey start for you?
The journey to the whole digital sphere started for me. The earliest days was when I bought my first BlackBerry. That was like 2011. And everyone was just saying something about making money online. But then you keep Googling and you find a lot of things, but none of them is really tangible. But fast forward to 2015, 2016. I finished serving in 2016. So I went to Abuja after service. And my cousin was like, hey, there is this school. She couldn't even understand exactly what they were doing, but she gave me their website. I went through it. It was an advert school in Lagos. It's called O2 Academy. Okay. So she was like, okay, if you like it, I would pay for you to attend any whatever. Because she knew I used to blog then, and I was a very good writer. I wrote poetry and stuff. So I told her that I'm interested, and I came back to Lagos. I enrolled, and that was my journey into content creation and advertising. So, but then I still had that I want to make money online mindset. So when I was done with advert school, I did copywriting. Fortunately for me, I got a job with a digital marketing firm, and boom, from copywriting for traditional advertising, I became a copywriter for digital. So I took a couple of online courses, and to refine my skill for the digital, for digital platforms and all of that. And the agency I worked with, they were servicing FCMB. So it was a big deal. It's a bank. I was writing their social media content every day, day in, day out. So, the procedures and all of that. So it was like pure fire. And that was basically how I came into the whole digital marketing.
Okay, arena. So from what you just said, you've done the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And you're here now. So when did you realize that it is time for you to move on?
Okay, so with time, while working, that was when I got my first gig. We had at a meeting one day, and we were like, okay, you have a couple of followers. I think I had 9K followers then. And we were like, okay, let's put you among our influencers. And I delivered. I even had more clicks than some people that had 200K followers then. And everybody was impressed. So from there, I started getting a lot more gigs. It started taking more of my time. I would have days where I was stepping out to work and someone calls me for a job that I know that I had to take the rest of the day. I was just calling sick or something at work. But for me, I asked a lot of people, and when I realized I was making like 5 times of what I usually made in my 9 to 5 from part-time, when I just knew that it was time, let's go.
Okay, so when you made that decision, was there any time you told you had a bit of regret making the decision ever?
No, funny enough, immediately after I made the decision, I regretted making it late. Okay. Not making it earlier. So far, there has been no regrets whatsoever. Of course, I miss my colleagues, and I miss the agency life. It's always fun and all of that. But I think the income makes up for that. Okay,
so talking about the income, what is the average an influencer or a digital marketer can make in a month in Nigeria?
Again, it's a tricky question because for some they make very little, and for others they make so much. So even getting an average is tricky. But I think the average influencer should be able to make at least 100K
a month
every month. And for some, we're talking about millions. But the average guy should be at least break even 100K.
Okay, so people around you, I know some people probably do not understand the kind of job you do. They think, oh, he's always at home, or he's always pressing his phone. So how do you interact with people? How do you make them understand the kind of job you do? And have you ever tried to let them into your own world?
Let them into my own world, I wouldn't know. But for my neighbors, whenever I get stuff from brands, maybe Google, Nescafe, and the rest, I give their kids power banks, water bottles, sometimes pizza from Domino's and stuff. I'll be like, oh, these are people I work with too. This is what I'm always pressing on my phone. So when brands deliver stuff to the house, they'll be like, this guy doesn't leave this house, but he's always getting packages and packages and stuff. So that's usually an avenue to evangelize, like, okay, it's not just pressing phone, it's real. And sometimes when I travel and stuff, they see it, I tell them I'm going for work, and they'll be like, okay, so far they've been able to come to terms with the fact that, okay, it's not just pressing phone, but he's working on the phone, and we have seen some of the benefits so far.
So looking at it from the years you've spent in the industry, I mean, you're not just one of those that you just stumbled into it, but you have a background in content creation and advertising. Looking at the way influencer marketing came into Nigeria, where it is now, where do you think it is going?
Influencer marketing is still a very young baby in Nigeria. In fact, I dare say we are not yet practicing it in its purest form. So it still has a long way to go. The more people come online, the more people use social media platforms, the more, of course, they tend to rally around demigod figures, people that they adore, people that they would love to be like, people that live their ideal life. So it's still a very booming industry, and trust me, we've not scratched the surface, I would say. Especially on platforms like Twitter. I think Instagram, it's getting a bit stable, but for platforms like Twitter, Facebook, I think we are just getting started. Those of us doing it now are still more or less laying the foundation, and it's still going to get big, really big.
What would you say is the major challenge right now in the industry?
The major challenge in the industry is, of course, the fact that it's an open entry industry.
Zero barrier to entry.
Yeah, anyone can just wake up with crazy content, creative content, and boom, you find him in front of you. Like, where is this all coming from? And then all your clients follow the person. But then also the issue of buying of followers or artificially inflating figures and all of that is also an issue, because people that inflate figures, they would obviously, ghost and fake accounts don't patronize brands. So they would never have return on investment for brands, and then that rubs off on everyone. For someone who is a newbie in the influencer marketing world, let's say a new brand, and they contact such a person first, they would be very difficult to convince going forward that this actually works, and you only did business with the wrong person. Okay,
I like that you talked about zero barrier to entry. So if that is the case, where then is the staying power? How do one decide what should one do to say, I want to stay here for the long run, I want to be here for at least 10 years, I'm still be relevant? What can be done to remain relevant?
Of course, zero barrier to entry is more or less like capitalism. We all know that capitalism thrives on efficiency. You are constantly on your toes. It makes for premium, the best, only the best and the strongest survive. So that is it. The fact that you know that anyone can come from anywhere and overtake means you always have to constantly reinvent, constantly be creative, constantly move from where you were to a new place, reinvent, follow the trends. So in as much as it seems like a bad thing, it's also a good thing, because you are not docile, you're not dormant. It's not like your typical 9 to 5. You are constantly challenged to do more. So that is the beauty of it eventually. Okay,
so we had the lead consultant of Benzaville, Femi, of course you know him, and he talked about the challenges in the industry where he really touched on finances, the budgeting. What would you say is the case right now? Because I know sometimes instead of just working with the agency, you get to work directly with the brands. So what would you say is really playing in that field right now when it comes to budgeting?
Budgeting. Every business is in business to maximize profits, to make as much profit as possible. So to address the issue of brands boycotting agencies to come to influencers directly, of course, agencies have agency fees, and by the time they prepare all of their documents and all, it's a lot of money. So brands are doing that to maximize profit. Then on the influencer side, some make a lot of money, while others still take peanuts even from the brands. So, which is now another problem with the zero entry system, because you find that this creative guy, he has a lot of value, he has a very loyal fan base, he has a lot to offer, and this brand realizes quickly and jumps on him, and whatever they offer him, he's willing to take it, because this is like manna
he cannot value his
he doesn't even know he has value. It's more like it's free. It's like free money, free cash, free 50K, just to post I'll normally do every day. So you get, so that's then eventually when you find the new kid on the block, a hot cake, doing it for less, it eventually rubs off on everyone. It automatically affects the general average. So you understand the value and you tend to charge higher, brands would put you aside. But the beauty of it is that eventually these guys, they grow, they associate, and then they're able to charge what they are really worth. But of course, those with fake followers, they always charge less.
Okay, so let's talk about personality, because he mentioned that too, and saying one of the staying power is your personality. Like if there's a personality attached to a brand, then that's the influencer's brand now. Then other brands will want to tap into that personality. What do you think? Do you think personality really works for the staying power?
It's true. Knowing fully well that when we talk about social media and influencer marketing, we are talking about your influence, how your lifestyle influences people. So first of all, if you don't have a personality, if you don't have a lifestyle that you are showcasing, if you don't have something tangible that you are giving in the visual world, which is social media, you can't be termed as influential. Nothing, a non-entity can't be influential, except in the world of non-entities. So yeah, you need a personality. I always tell this to up and coming influencers. You need a face. You need to be able to be seen and felt, attend events. You need to be relatable. People want to know that you are real, because of course everyone operates visually, but every opportunity you get, you should be able to make a very lasting impression that, okay, we may not see 364 days in the year, but this one day I'm going to convince you that I'm real for the rest of the year and beyond. Okay, so it's important.
Do influencers live expensive life?
Okay, so influencers that are more visual, people like influencers on Instagram, mostly, and maybe on YouTube, that pressure of, they are more seen. So their influence is derived basically from what people see. So they tend to live a bit of expensive lives because they need to show, I'm living comfortably, I'm driving so and so car. So they tend to live, but then even some of them, they live moderately. I think compared to mainstream celebrities, influencers still live very moderate lives. And those on Twitter, for instance, are able to hide their true personality and lifestyle and all of that. So all your influence basically comes from your content and not necessarily from how you live or how much you earn or how boisterous you look. You get. So influencers generally live very moderate lives compared to their counterparts in mainstream. Okay, media.
So what advice would you give a young person who is looking into having a career in the digital space?
So if you're looking to have a career in the digital space, first of all, you must ask yourself, are you willing to do this for the long run? Are you willing to do this every day? Are you willing to take bashing? How much of an emotionally strong person are you? Because there will always be people that come for you, whether you're on the right side or on the wrong side. In fact, it's more like online, there is no right or wrong. There is only clouds and how much you can take and give back. Then, so basically, consistency, creativity, and emotional strength and stability are very important. then you must always also realize that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You are doing it for the love. And if money comes out of it, fine. If it doesn't come out of it, are you still willing to keep doing it? Because, trust me, zero entry. Everybody is coming. People are leaving. People are overtaking people. So you must be ready to do it selflessly and for the love. If not, when you don't see anything from it, you say, Favour lied, Favour came to Plus TV and lied. So that's my advice.
All right, thank you so much, Favour, for being with us at Plus TV Africa.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. This is Plus TV Africa. Next up is this conversation with one of the top bloggers in Nigeria, Kemi Filani Adebayo. Kemi Filani is a digital media expert who began her career in media and communications in 2010 with NTA Abeokuta, where she interned as a news reporter for about 4 months. She has a BSc in mass communication from the Redeemers University and Masters in Mass Communication from the University of Lagos, where she majored in public relations and advertising and digital media. She is presently the creative director of Neolu Okros Limited. Hi, Kemi. Thank you for joining us at Plus TV Africa.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, your blog is one of the top at least 10 blogs in Nigeria right now. How did you get to that point?
Okay, well, first, the grace of God. Then, more importantly, it takes dedication. You have to be dedicated. You have to be focused. You would not be lazy. There are times where you have to work all through the night, because you have to be focused on it. So I had to be focused on what I wanted. And then I had to make sure I was different. Different in the sense that there's this thing everybody does now, copying and pasting. So I made sure I avoided that. I get my content, make sure they are exclusive, make sure they are unique, make sure they are fresh, always having a fresh angles to other reports. And then number 3, I invested in trainings, workshops. You don't have to be at the level you started from. So getting more experience, knowing what is actually important now for you to help your blog grow. So I attended workshops, I attended training as well.
At the beginning, how long did you have to spend on the platform every day to at least make sure you have the number of content you want?
Well, it depends. When I started, I was literally on the blog for 24 hours.
Wow.
In the sense that even when I'm out, I'm with my laptop, because if there's a breaking story or any story trending, I would always want to be on top of it. There are times I would sleep late into the night, wake up very early to monitor some reports and stories, but it's easier now because I have people that are working with me. So yeah.
How many people are working with you at the moment? I mean, you are now an employee of Billboard just by having a blog.
Yes. About 5.
About 5.
Yes.
Okay, you studied mass communication.
Yes.
While you were deciding this line of education, did you know that you were going to major in a platform like a blog or own a media platform?
Actually, I did not.
Okay,
I didn't foresee it. I studied mass comm because I was interested in journalism, writing reports, going out to the field to report stories. But it was during my service year, that was in Channels TV. That was how I got wind of online reporting, because I was actually posted to the newsroom, going out to report stories. But I found out about the web unit, and I became interested in what they were doing, like reporting stories online. And also I actually begged to allow me to be posted to that unit instead. And from there we started writing stories on their website. And I also discovered the likes of Bella Niger, Linda Ikeja, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. I can actually start something like this. And that was how I kicked off.
So you started this from your place of work, like you did not have the mindset to say I was going to start a blog. It just came and you saw it and you thought this is something you could do.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so in this journey of putting out content, we have the issue of fake news. How are you sure of the kind of content you put out there to make sure you're not helping anybody push out something that is not true?
Usually, before posting out any stories, I always confirm. Like if there's a story on a particular celebrity and I have his or her contacts, or the manager's contacts, usually I send out messages or I call to confirm. But if they don't respond or they choose to ignore, that is when, if of course the story is trending, you don't want to miss out on such stories. So we put in allegedly or reportedly. But usually, and then we had that we sent a message to so, but it was ignored as at the time of this report. So usually I always confirm every of my stories before I put them up, unless the person involved chooses to ignore or, responding.
Why do you think celebrities don't like bloggers?
I actually have no idea, because why would they not like bloggers? We are giving them publicity, the publicity they need. So they should even appreciate us. Well, I think it's because many of the stories revolving around them they are always negative stories, and it's actually not our fault. It's their fault, because posting some things and then when fans react and we pick up the stories from the reactions, because people, that's what would sell, that's what people want to read. So in that kind of scenario, they get angry, like, why didn't you take it from this angle? Why did you take it from this angle? So I guess that's where they...
But in trying to give the fans what they want, I mean, I've seen the complaint of them saying, you guys never report it when there's something good going on in their life or when they are doing something good for the society. But once something wrong happens, it is everywhere. Is this deliberate? It's
not deliberate. Like me, for instance, when they do something good, I blog it. Like there's this OAP, Ari Akibabola. There was a time she repaired a road around Lekki or something. They fixed the road. I did the story, and after I did it, other blogs now copied and did it as well. So I think it depends. I don't know, but for me personally, I don't just focus on the negative reports.
Okay.
I try to balance it. When I see something good to report about, I do it.
Okay.
So I'm not just focused on the bad aspect, but I don't know about others.
So how lucrative is blogging as a business?
Well, it is. It actually is. It depends on how you look at it, but it's a very lucrative business.
Okay, so if I come to you and say, I want to start a blog and I want to make money, what are the steps you advise me to take?
Okay, first of all, are you really interested in blogging? Or you're just there because you want to make money? Okay, first, you have to have the passion. You have to be interested, like, I really want to do this thing, because anything without passion, along the line, you could even go into depression if things don't turn out the way you expect. So first of all, you have to have the passion, you have to be interested in it. And then for you to make money fast, everybody is now into entertainment, everybody is now into music, everybody is practically doing this. Fine, the sky is big enough, but for you to make it fast, you have to come out with something different, something unique. I was seeing this viral video yesterday about a runway where some Nigerians, they had their dance to distinguish themselves for the others, and it went viral. So the way they came in unique. So for you to come out, to start your own blog, you have to come out in a unique way. You can start something that is not very common. Maybe you report your stories with cartoons, or just make sure you come out in a unique way, something that would make others, after even seeing the information on other sites, they'll still want to come to your site and be like, the way this person reported will be different. And then number 3, you have said being unique. And then number 3, you have to make sure you have a solid internet. You have to have a good device as well. You could use your phone, but if the phone is a very good one, you could use it to blog as well, internet. And then you have to develop yourself. Don't just say you want to start. Go for trainings, go for workshops. It's very, very important.
Now that you've mentioned trainings and workshops, do you think if you did not have the background in mass communication, you'd be able to push your blog to where it is right now?
Well, it actually helped me because it gave me the idea on how to report stories. Right from school, we were taught how to go out to report, how to write stories. Even though now, the method we were taught then was traditional, how to write for newspapers and all. But at least the method now is different. Everybody wants it fast, 2-3 paragraphs and all. But it still gave me a background and a good insight on how to know what is newsworthy and what to actually sell. Okay,
so how long did it take you to make your first income from blogging?
Okay, how long? I started in 2013 fully. I think that should be 2014. That was when I started getting invitations to events. They pay you for the events, and then the AdSense, and then major banners. So let's say 2014, 2015-ish.
So you mentioned AdSense now, that I know of. What are the ways to make money from a blog?
Okay, you could make from events. Okay. Go out, you cover events. And then you could also make from sponsored posts. People can come out, put up posts on your blog, you charge them. You could also make from banners. organizations, companies, banks. They can put up banners on your website. That's also a very good way to make money. And you could also sell something. You could have a side business and promote it online on your website with it. So those are ways to make money from.
Okay, for your brand, I mean, your personality, Kemi Filani blog is on its own now, and then there's you. But I noticed that there's some level of anonymity when it comes to you. Like, your face is not out there. I literally have to drag you to do this. So what is the idea behind that? Is that deliberate?
I'm a very, would I say I'm an introvert? Well, I would say I'm not that kind of person that likes, I wouldn't want to walk into a place and everybody will start pointing, this is the, no. I like my privacy, so I guess that's why.
Okay. So the digital age, I mean, that's where the blogging came in, and then influencer marketing and all that. How do you think it's playing out in Nigeria right now?
I think it's playing out very, very well. Everybody's now starting to embrace it, and many people are now, it's opening doors for many young people. They're starting to make money from it, and that's really helping people from looking for a job or staying idle. So I think it's really making its way into the country, and it's good.
So in the next 5 years, where do you think we'll be when it comes to social media and marketing?
I think we'll be advanced than this, and then there'll probably be new platforms. Before even blogging now, if you look at it, it's already revolving into YouTube, revolving into Instagram, revolving into, so probably 5 years from now, we will probably have some new platforms that we've not even thought of yet. So we are looking at it. But the best thing is not to be left behind. As it's coming, make sure you're also developing and growing with it.
So in content creation, what is it that gives you the inspiration? Because I know you create content as well. So when you have a brief and you have to create a content, what is the thought process that has to go into the project to make it happen faster and better? Okay,
I look at it, I put myself in the state of the reader, the audience. I'm like, okay, if I was to see this, how would it appeal to me? So I tend to take it from the human interest angle. And that's what helps me with creating my content. What would appeal or interest people generally?
Okay, now that you're talking about interesting people, I remember the case of captions. We had the conversation on Tea Time here on Plus TV Africa, how bloggers would always put up a caption, and then you click on this link, you go in and you're seeing something different, or you're not seeing enough to back up the headline or the title of the post. Why is that so?
I don't do that, but I think... No, jokes aside, I don't do that because I make sure whenever I'm doing something, I make sure even the headline, it corroborates with whatever I'm writing. So basically everybody does that, clickbaits, we are looking for traffic and all that, but I always advise people, even if you want to make your headline super catchy, avoid telling lies. No matter how you want to frame it, you could frame it, but just make sure there's an iota of, don't let it. It's always annoying because sometimes I see some websites, I see an headline and I'm like, oh my god, this would be interesting. I click on it to look at the story and I'm disappointed. So I always avoid it, and it's something, I think it's something we should create awareness on generally. People should avoid it. You don't have to lie to make people click, because it's integrity. People will not come back if they know that this person is always telling lies or with the headline. Next time when I say, you all look back as usual. So you have to have that integrity. You have to make sure that whatever you report or your headline is actually correct, so that people will keep coming back. You don't have to lie to get your clicks, as long as your story is original and true.
Okay, in this journey, what has been your greatest challenge? I mean, you're a woman in the industry. It's mostly male-dominated to an extent. So what has been the challenge?
The challenge, would I say there's a challenge? Initially, the challenge was balancing work, time, family, and all. But I think now I've been able to create that time on making sure everything is balanced. Work is not having more time than family and all. So I think I've been able to make a conscious effort on that.
Okay. Thank you so much for chatting with us on Plus TV
Thank you for
Africa.
having me, Elsie.
That's it on this episode. Stay tuned to Plus TV Africa as we bring you more interesting conversations with your favorite digital marketers. Don't forget to follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. My name is Elsie Godwin.